Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to SOS. My name is LaKeesha Hines, and I am saving bedrooms one bedroom at a time. I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I just want to go ahead and shout out the people who are here. So make sure you make your presence known. I see you. I see you're here, but you haven't added any comments to the stream yet. So go ahead and let me know who you are. Let me know where you're streaming from. And again, I want to say thank you for joining. There are so many wonderful things coming up with Couples Academy, specifically this weekend, last chance weekend. So excited about that. Looking forward to meeting all of the wonderful couples that will be joining us in Georgia. Looking forward to it, meeting everyone and looking forward to hearing their stories, their testimonies, their trials and triumphs. So looking forward to the back end, the journey, the initial meeting, all of it wonderful. Hey, Renita. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Yolanda. Thank you for joining. I don't know if you watched last week, but we were talking about reasons why husbands say no to sex. And I know it caught you guys off guard. I know you were like, they never say no. What are you talking about? But there are husbands out there who do say no. And we were going through reasons as to why those husbands say no. So, as always, I like to give you guys a quick little recap before we dive into what we're talking about tonight because you may have missed last week. And I want to make sure that we are up to date with all of the reasons that we previously talked about so we can combine it and put it all together. So, reason number one that we talked about, it was work related stress or financial stress. And I gave you guys tips, things that you can do to help alleviate some of that work stress and some of that financial stress. The second thing was repeated relationship neglect. Now, we hear it all the time where women are talking about they feel as if they're not getting what it is that they want, need, desire, whatever out of the relationship. But there are times where, guess what? Our husbands, our men, they feel that way as well. So we talked about different reasons why they may be experiencing relationship neglect and different things that you can actually do to help support them. Now, where we ended was on a controversial note, and it was regarding pornography and masturbation. And one of the things that we were talking about literally is how too much porn, too much masturbation can actually put your husband in a place or your spouse or your partner in a place where you are just not enough for them because they are used to their one man show. And a lot of ways, or a lot of times, I'm sorry, their partner is unable to live up to whatever those expectations are that they have or whatever experience that they're having when they're by themselves. So that can lead to them saying no because they might lose interest. So, those are the three things that we talked about last week. I'm going to give you three more reasons why husbands might say no to sex. And so, let's dive in. All right. So the first one for tonight is actually performance anxiety. I'm not sure if you have experienced this, if you're a man and you're here, or if you are the female partner, spouse, wife. I'm not sure who you are watching tonight. So I don't know if you have experienced that with your particular mate, but this is a real thing. There are times where men do experience performance anxiety. So there are several men that actually seem to ascribe to this false notion that being a man automatically makes them sexual experts. That is not the truth. And so the belief that a man should always know exactly what to do in the bedroom actually can cause him to experience unnecessary pressure, especially when his wife does not seem thrilled by his performance. If you are a husband or you have a husband who's sensitive toward pleasing your wife or his wife sexually, then they might have anxiety if his wife or partner repeatedly fails to climax or have an orgasm. So, The reality is, this might have little to do with him, but he may still blame himself and then just prefer to play it safe by just not having sex at all. Because then, guess what? I can't be disappointed if I don't do anything. If you are a wife who's sexually assertive, then you can scare the living daylights out of a husband who's less sexually experienced. And he might prefer to hide rather than admit that he's afraid or that he feels inadequate. So, okay, so I already know what you're saying, but let me break it down for you a little bit further. So let's say that two people get married, the husband is a virgin, but the wife is not. Or maybe the husband has only had one or two partners. The wife may have had more partners, or she may have had more experience with one partner. However, it goes, if you have a husband who's not as experienced as his wife, he may, may have some fear surrounding performing. And that's exactly what we're talking about performance anxiety. So I told you I'm not just going to give you problems and not tell you what to do. So here's some things that can be done. Now, first of all, you got to get to a place where you're comfortable to discuss your sex life. And this is one of the things that literally we will be talking about every single episode is communication, because you can never communicate enough in this area. I mean, generally speaking, in your relationship, you have to communicate, right? But you definitely have to communicate in this department as well. So you have to be comfortable to discuss your sex life with a doctor. The doctor will examine, do an examination, do some tests to make sure that there's no health conditions, or that there's maybe a particular medication that you're taking that might be the cause of your problem. So he or she will be able to evaluate that and assess that. All right. Medication, excuse me, and other therapies might actually help treat ED or erectile dysfunction if that is something that you as a husband or your husband or partner may be experiencing. There are some other sexual problems that have physical causes too. And so that's something that can also be explored by seeing a doctor. So if it's not a medical issue, that's not what to blame, then your doctor might say you might need to talk to a therapist. You might need to talk with a counselor or a therapist who has experience in treating issues with performance, with anxiety or sexual problems. The therapy might actually help you understand and then reduce or even possibly get rid of altogether the issues that are causing your sexual performance anxiety. The main thing too is to be open with your partner. Again, going back to communication, you have to talk with your partner about your anxiety, and that can help ease some of your worries. And so when you guys work together to try to reach a solution, then you might actually draw closer together as a couple and then improve your sexual relationship. Remember, it's not just about the physical act of sex. It's communication, it's intimacy, it's you guys being open and honest with one another. Remember, intimacy is into me. See, I can't see into you if you're not talking to me, right? So it all comes together. Now, another thing that could be done besides talking to a therapist, obviously having open communication, you can be intimate in other ways. So you actually can be intimate without intercourse. You can do sexual massages. You can take a warm bath together. You can take turns pleasing each other with masturbation. So you don't always feel like you have to have that pressure to perform sexually. Another thing that can be done is exercise. So not only does working out make you feel better about your body, but it also improves your stamina in bed. I don't know if you knew that, but exercise is key to being able to have longevity in the bedroom. Another thing you can do is distract yourself. Put on some romantic music, put on a sexy movie while you make love. If it's not too much of a distraction, you want to think about something that actually excites you or turns you on. You need something sometimes to take your mind off of your sexual performance, because that might actually remove the worries that prevent you from getting excited or prevent you from being as ready as you could possibly be, because you're removing away the worry that you're having. All right. And then last but not least, take it easy on yourself. And if you are the spouse that's here, the wife that's here, take it easy on your spouse. If you are the person who has a sexual anxiety, don't beat yourself up about your appearance or your ability in bed. It's a work in progress, as with everything in relationships. And again, if you are the wife that is here who has the husband that has sexual anxiety, take it easy on them. understanding that this is something that they have to work through. You've got to be patient with your spouse. You've got to be patient with each other, communicate, talk, and get the help that you need. But do what you can. And then when you have reached the end of you, then you reach out for help. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If you have questions, as always, you are welcome to drop them here in the chat if you have any questions about performance anxiety and what that looks like. Okay, uh, let's see. Let's go to the next one. All right, so there may actually be physical reasons why a husband may say no to sex. And some of those we talked about with the ladies when we were discussing reasons why wives might say no, and it was hormonal. So it could be the same thing for your man, or if you're, again, the man that's here, it could be low testosterone. And so, just like women, as men get older, they do have a change in their hormone levels. So, specifically for men, low testosterone and also chronic diseases could negatively impact the sex life. Diabetes and hypertension, for example, might lead to erectile dysfunction. So, if you're a man, whether you're younger or older, if you recognize that your erection is not behaving as it should, then this might cause you to withdraw sexually because of embarrassment or fear of rejection. But understanding, getting to the root of what the issue is, there are treatments in place, there are things that can be done. So I don't want you to lose hope if that is the case. Another physical reason why a husband might say no is that he might not be attracted to you anymore, or you might not be attracted to your spouse anymore. That is a real thing. Attraction is important. And so that, again, is something that needs to be discussed. And there has to be open and honest communication if there has been a shift in the level of attraction. The next reason why husbands may say no, or another reason might be, is that he's not being fully satisfied and he's not being fulfilled sexually. Again, if you're the husband that's here, you might be lacking in terms of your fulfillment. Again, another conversation, something that needs to be discussed, because what is it that you need? You have to be willing to share what it is that you want and you need. And wives, if you are here, you have to be willing to listen and not judge, not shut him down when he's talking. And I said the same thing on the other end with women when I was talking about the issues and reasons why women may say no. Both parties have to be open and receptive and non-judgmental. Okay, so what are some things that you actually can do if your husband is saying no? Or husband, if you're saying no, what can be done if you're saying no to sex because of physical reasons? First thing is, we want to try to enhance arousal by trying something new. I'm not in your bedroom. I don't know what you've been doing in there, but whatever it is that you've been doing, if it's not working, then it's broke and we need to fix it. So we have to find some new things to enhance arousal. Another thing is to take the pressure off by trying something else for a little bit of time. So it may be foreplay, it may be toys, I don't know, but you may want to try something else for a little bit instead of focusing so much on intercourse. All right. Share your feelings about the situation by having a courageous conversation. Again, we have to be willing to have the difficult conversations with one another. Be a true partner by going with your partner to the doctor if that's what it comes down to. If you tried everything else and it's not working and now we're headed to the doctor's office, you want to make sure that you're there to offer your support and to just be there, again, just for support, and to let your guy know that you are by his side, you're not going anywhere, you got his back. It's important that you're there to support him in that way. If pills are prescribed because there is erectile dysfunction, or there's a low testosterone issue, wives, you have to be patient with the pills. Husbands, you have to be patient as well, because it will take time to get in your system depending on the type of pills that are being prescribed. But you just got to be patient with the pills if they're being prescribed. And regarding attraction, like literally, if there's no longer attraction to your spouse, again, you have to have a conversation. You have to evaluate and assess, is it physical? Is it mental? Is it emotional or spiritual? Has your partner gained weight or lost weight? Has your wife been reckless with her words? Wives, have you been disrespectful? Have you been emotionally unavailable, or have you been too emotional? Maybe you guys are not on the same page with your beliefs. Maybe things that your husband is into, you're not into, or vice versa. Maybe things that you're into, he's not into. So you may not be on the same page with your beliefs. You have to work to get on the same page. I do want to talk about disrespect just a little bit, because it's funny, this came up in a conversation earlier today. And it's so important, wives, that we are respectful of our husbands, because I will tell you, if a husband had to choose, if he didn't have a choice, right? He only had two options: to choose a wife who was respectful over a wife who loved him. He would choose the wife who's respectful over the wife that loves him every day. Does that mean he doesn't want love? Absolutely not. But what is more important is the respect, because to a man, respect is love. So for us, we have to be so mindful of our words and how we're speaking to our kings, right? And how we are building them up or tearing them down with our words. That is so important. So we have to make sure that we're not reckless with our words, because guess what? You could be the most beautiful woman on the planet. He could consider you a dime piece or whatever. But if you get reckless with those words and you start being disrespectful, you become unattractive to him. So again, you have to be mindful, so mindful of your words. All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will wrap this up for tonight. You're watching the SOS show. Hello. We are back. My name is LaKeesha Hines. Again, you are watching the SOS show, where we are saving bedrooms one bedroom at a time. I'm looking at you guys' comments, and I want to say thank you so much for joining. Hey, Ashley. Hi, Yolanda. Hey, Lisa. Mrs. Monique to you. Hi, Vashawn. Hi, Princess Israel. And listen, I want to put a comment up here by I think it's Candida Mulligan. She said, "Thank you for the respect talk." And you are welcome. You are absolutely welcome. I just want to park here for a second, because I think it's so important that we as women are respecting our husbands. And I know, we're talking about sex, but listen, this is the thing, you guys, it's all connected. The majority of our connection happens outside of the bedroom, because what takes place outside of the bedroom is what makes you want to go in the bedroom in the first place. And that respect is such a huge thing for men. I'm telling you something that I know, not something I heard. I used to be a wife who wasn't respectful, who was not honoring my king in a lot of ways, because I was reckless with my words, and I had to learn that that was not the right way to go. So at the end of the day, whether he is making me feel all types of joy, he's getting on my nerves, I still have to be respectful. Because at the end of the day, my ministry is to him first. And you pray, I pray, and I ask for a husband. God bless me with one, and now I'm going to be rude and disrespect him and not treat him right? Absolutely not. And so, again, on those days where I may not be feeling especially loving, or he's not being especially lovable because he's stressed out about something that has nothing to do with me, I think about the fact that whatever I say, whatever I do, is like me talking to God. I'm going to say that one more time. Whatever I say, whatever I do, it's like me talking to God, because the way that I show my love for God is through how I treat my husband. And the way he shows his love for me is through how he treat for God is through how he shows his love for me. So when I don't feel like being loving and kind and respectful, I think about what would happen if I talked to God like that, or if I treated God in that manner. And that's what kind of whips me into shape. All right. So, oh, M. Shay, Miss Thomas, you said that's good. Okay. Thank you. I receive it. I receive it. And hello, Miss Kimberly, and hello, Felice. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So, I want to take us to our final point for this evening. And it actually is the misalignment of goals. The last reason that we're talking about why husbands might say no to sex is the misalignment of goals. What am I talking about? Okay, so question for the ladies who are here: is your goal as a wife to serve your husband daily? Is your goal as a wife to serve your husband daily? The answer should be yes. And his goal as a husband should be to serve you daily as well. Because the thing is, if I'm serving you and you're serving me, aren't we both being fed? Aren't we both being served? I would say yes. So if we take the focus off of ourselves and put it onto them, and they take the focus off of themselves and put it onto us, again, we're both being taken care of. So your goal as a wife should be to serve your husband daily. We were called to be helpmates, right? That is one of the most important jobs, most important assignments, and it actually is a reverence position. It's not a position that is beneath the bottom of someone's shoe or below, or for us to be stepped on, or whatever the case may be. It's actually an honor to serve. If you think about our Lord and Savior, and I'm not going to preach because we're talking about sex, but God is all up in that too. But I'm just saying, if Jesus got on his hands and knees and he cleaned the feet of his disciples and he served people, who are we that we can't serve each other? So it is our job, it's our assignment to serve, right? So serve your husband. All right. Second point, with the misalignment of goals, men say that they literally don't need much. They need three things. Now, I heard it in a very, very vulgar way, but I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to clean it up, ladies. Men need triple S. Triple S. Number one, sex. Number two, supper. Number three, solitude. I will say that again. Men say they don't need much. They say they need three things: sex, supper, and solitude. And I know you haven't heard the term supper in a long time. For those of you who haven't heard it, it's dinner. So give me some sex, feed me, and then give me some time by myself. And they are good. All right. So remember that. Triple S, ladies. When a wife lovingly affirms her desire for her husband, this can be the first step towards breaking down barriers that prevent us from having mutual sexual expression and satisfaction. The same way we want to be desired and affirmed, they do as well. They don't want to be in a position where they are having an intimate encounter or having sex with their wife, and she's looking like she would rather be shopping, fishing, watching TV. Well, not fishing. I don't know. Some ladies fish, but you know what I mean. Shopping, watching TV, sleeping, doing anything else but what they're doing. So it is important again that we affirm our desire for our husbands. The same way we want to be desired, they want to be desired as well. Accept that relationship changes will affect what happens in the bedroom from time to time. That is critical that we are open and honest about that, and that we just understand that life happens, things happen. So there will be changes that take place in the relationship, and it will affect your bedroom activity. It doesn't have to because you're getting these tips from me. You're going to know what to do if these things come up, or if they're already happening, then you know what to do. But accepting that the changes will come and that it might affect what happens in the bedroom is critical to you guys being able to move forward, deal with it, accept it, and make change. All right. You want to always keep the channels of communication open so that if there are any problems that come up, they can be shared with sensitivity before they have a chance to grow and develop into something deeper and bigger, which can totally destroy your sexual intimacy. So that is why I'm saying communicate, communicate, communicate. All right. And then, wives, we must be willing to communicate our fears, our concerns, our needs regarding the issues of sex in a non threatening, non derisive manner. Because the reality is, there are a lot of men out there who do not fully understand our anatomy and our physiology. And so a lot of times the things that may have worked in the past doesn't work for you, because our bodies go through changes. And so we have to be willing to communicate what fears, concerns, and needs we have, but do it um, in a non-threatening, non-judgmental, and just not in a way that's going to make your husband feel less than. And so, husbands, you have to do the same. Communicate what fears you have, what concerns you have, and what your needs are. And women, we have to be willing to be open and to receive and to listen and respond. And last but not least, when you are communicating, you must be firm, but you also must have loving confrontation. Remember, we have to be willing to have those uncomfortable conversations, those crucial conversations with one another, right? So if there is any suspicion of infidelity or any type of abuse to pornography and even masturbation, then there has to be communication. And we've got to confront the issue head on, but doing in a loving way. You want to be clear, concise, and direct. You want to be raw, real, but not rude, always. All right. So we want to make sure, again, lastly, that we are looking at our goals and that we are ensuring that we are sensitive to the thoughts, the feelings, the fears, the emotions, the concerns, the doubts, whatever they are, and that we are open and willing to listen and hear one another. So that is it regarding the reasons why husbands say no to sex. There may be many other reasons out there, but these are the top ones that I wanted to focus on. But I want to tell you guys next week. Woo! Next week, have your face in the place. We are breaking down foreplay. So I want you to come play with me before you play next week. I want to see you guys on time, early to catch me at 9 a.m. It's going to be juicy. It's going to be spicy. I can't wait. Super, super excited. And I just again want to thank you all for joining. Hello, Dee Dee, and hello. Thank you again, Darlene, for your comments, all of your comments, and for joining. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And if you have any questions regarding foreplay, I want you to go ahead and write them down so you'll be ready to post to post your questions in case you do have any. But we will be taking a deep dive. We are getting in, we are going through. So you guys be ready. All right. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you same time next week. This is SOS, and I'm LaKeesha Hines signing off. Have a good night.